Hey there, ghouls and gals, and welcome back to my video. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Hillary, and if you are one of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. I see you. I see you guys in the comments. Now, before we get started on our video tonight, I have two public service announcements. First one is you may notice there is a new background. That is because my sister's cats did something unspeakable to my last one, so hopefully you guys like this one as much as I do. I've fallen in love. I think I like it. And my second announcement is just there's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. There's been some crazy things happening, I'm sure, as most of you guys know. So just stay safe and be kind. Be kind to people around you. Be kind to your neighbor. That's all I really have to say about it. We are all in this together, so just be kind. Okay, so on with the video. Tonight we are going to be covering Peg Entwistle, and this was a story of a lady that climbed up to the top of the Hollywood sign and jumped off. Unfortunately, it was a suicide, so this is a little disclaimer. If any of you guys are ever feeling sad or alone, please talk to somebody. And then I guess we're just gonna get right on into it. Rising 45 feet over the Hollywood Hills sits the Hollywood sign. It is a major tourist attraction, and it attracts like 10 million people, I believe, a year that come to visit this sign to gaze at it. And they all go to Griffith Park, which is a pretty big haunted location, and it is supposed to be haunted. One of these ghosts that haunts it is by the name of Peg Entwistle. For many people, the Hollywood sign represents the hopes and dreams that they have. You know, they go out to Hollywood and they expect to be actors or actresses, or just to fulfill a dream that they've had for as long as they can remember. But this Hollywood sign also has a dark side to it. On the night of September 16th, 1932, a young actress named Peg Entwistle left her uncle's home, climbed up to the Hollywood sign, climbed up a service ladder on the letter H of the Hollywood sign, and jumped to her death. She was only 24 years old at the time. In the year 1932 of Entwistle's death, that was basically when all the silent movies had just ended and talkies started to happen. So it was a big new thing, and that was what was going on at the time. Like so many other people that come to Hollywood, Peg Entwistle came there to be an actress. She was like an up-and-coming actress, and she just came to Hollywood to follow her dreams. But unfortunately, those dreams ended. She was born Millicent Lillian Entwistle in February 1908, and she was, I think it was February 5th, 1908, and she was born in Wales. It's really unclear what happened to Peg's mother at this time, but in 1912, Peg and her father moved to America to start a new life, and this is where her father met another woman, had two sons, and I believe they moved to New York, where he was like a small stage manager, and this is where their life started, in New York. Unfortunately, it kind of seemed that bad things would follow this family around, so the mother, I guess, either died or left them before they moved to America, and then moving to America, I believe in 1921, Peg's new stepmother died, and a year after that, her father died, and her father died from a car accident, and Peg and her two brothers ended up having to go live with their uncle, who I believe lived in Hollywood. Despite all these personal tragedies and all these things that happened to this family, Peg decided to follow her dream, and at 17, she really started to get serious about pursuing her career in film. I think in 1925, she was in a Broadway film, and it kind of looked good for her. So Peg married a fellow actor named Robert Lee Keith in 1927. However, as bad luck followed Peg, her husband and her divorced in 1929 because she didn't know that he had a wife and a son, so gross. By about 1931 at this time, the Depression had hit, things were going bad, and Peg ended up moving back in with her uncle because she had, I don't know if I clarified, she had left and went back to New York with her new husband, and then she moved back in with her uncle in Los Angeles and decided to pursue her career. But she was having a lot of trouble standing out in the crowds. I guess a lot of people looking for movie roles, and she was having a really hard time. In the summer of 1932, Peg had just finished her first big movie. It was called 13 Women, but a lot of her scenes ended up getting cut out of this movie, and I don't think it came out until after she had already died, and it wasn't really well received after either, so that's a major bummer. So now, after all of this has happened, we've reached September 6th, 1932, and this is the night that Peg committed suicide. She told her uncle she was going to go hang out with some friends, and she left his house on Beechwood Drive in Los Angeles and climbed up the Hollywood Hills, climbed up a service ladder to the top of the H, and jumped off. The next day, a hiker who was hiking up the mountain saw a shoe, a jacket, and a purse, and below that she saw Peg laying in the hills, and she decided to call the police. In her purse there was a note, and it was a suicide note, and I'm going to read that for you. So the note read, "I am afraid, I am a coward, I am sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, it would have saved a lot of pain. Signed, P.E." After the police pick her up, her uncle later came in and identified the body as Peg Entwistle, and it was later confirmed that it was a suicide. And ever since then, Peg has become somewhat of a legend. It says that she haunts the Hollywood Hills, and every time she's around, you can smell the smell of gardenias, which was her favorite perfume. So there was a rumor going around, I don't know if this is factual, saying that the day after Peg died, she got a letter in the mail that was a big shot for her. It was I guess a movie or a play that she was supposed to be in, and it was actually about a woman who was driven to suicide, so that is a weird coincidence. Now, I just find it so heartbreaking that this woman, she tried to follow her dreams, she tried to do what she wanted to do, and she did not become famous until after her suicide. Her story was widely publicized, and even to this day, this happened in the 1930s, and to this day, people still talk about her and still go there to visit, and she is known for leaping off the Hollywood sign. She's not known for any of the things she contributed in, known in the Broadway plays, really. She's known for an act that ended up taking her life, and that is what made this woman famous. I'm gonna read a couple of the ghost encounters that I found, so let's get right on into these. The Hollywood sign stands atop Mount Lee in Griffith Park, just west of Los Angeles suburb of Glendale. Over the years, park rangers have reported seeing a pretty blonde woman dressed in 1930s clothing wandering the park's paths. She is described as looking sad, and when she is approached, she vanishes. As a couple was walking their dog along the Beechwood Canyon Trail of the park, their dog began to behave strangely, whimpering and cowering behind them. Suddenly, a woman in out-of-date clothing appeared on the trail in front of them. Appearing dazed or confused, she vanished before their eyes. John Arbogast, a park ranger, claims to have seen Peg's ghost on several occasions. He says she most often appears late at night when conditions are foggy, and she is often accompanied by the strong scent of gardenias, said to be Peg's favorite fragrance. I'm going to do one more because these go on and on and on. There are lists of people saying that they've seen her. Devin Morgan, a resident of Beechwood Canyon, also can verify the gardenia connection. One afternoon, she was taking an exercise hike up the trail near the sign. As she made her way around one of these switchbacks, she noticed that a figure of a woman on another part of the trail. She looked very strange to me, Morgan said. She had a very etheric quality. Instead of walking, she seemed to almost glide. She wasn't floating. She didn't look like she was a ghost, but there was something very, very strange about her, and very soft-looking. Morgan attempted to catch up with this woman, but she had vanished, and the only thing in her place was the intense scent of gardenias. Most recently, 4 friends encountered the ghost. A story of that was featured on Sci-Fi's Paranormal Witness. The friends Tina, Alan, Brian, and Al, after a game at Dodger Stadium, decided to go touch the famous Hollywood sign. Although the area is off limits to trespassers, they jumped the fence and headed up. On their way back down, Brian slipped and fell part of the way down the hill. As he began to make his way back up toward the others, he saw someone on the path walking toward him. It was a woman wearing a dress similar to the style of the 1930s. According to the Sci-Fi story, she wore heels and a veil over her face. She walked effortless. I can't get this. Effortlessly. Effortlessly? Effortlessly up the hill. Her footsteps made no sound. It was only later that they read the story about Peg Entwistle. So with all those stories, are any of you guys brave enough to go up in Griffith Park and check out the Hollywood sign and see if you can see the ghost of Peg Entwistle? I think a very sad thing happened to a woman, and I can believe that there's an imprint of her left in that area, because it kind of seems like sadness followed her around her entire life, and she tried to make it big, and I guess she gave up. And if anything, I would think that it is an imprint. Not necessarily an intelligent haunting, but just an imprint of her last moments on this earth. I want to thank all you guys for coming back and for watching, and I hope to see you guys on my next video. Bye, guys.